Hello, welcome to camping vlog number 3 for the summer of 2026. It is Friday and we are going to be headed out on our weekend camping adventure. We have Ivan in the back and me in the front doing the driving. We are going to be headed north. I have about an hour and a half drive and new campground, State Park. So let's go see what we have in store. All right, we made it to camp. The drive went well. No real traffic or anything. We have set up, we've taken the dog for a walk, you would have seen all that, and now we are going to make dinner. So I did bring something to cook over the fire tomorrow, but as per usual, it's already almost 7:30, and I'm hungry, so I'm not going to take time to build a fire and cook over that tonight. So we're going to do what we usually do and do a backpacking meal. This time, I brought chicken coconut curry from Peak Performance. I enjoy these. They are very high in calories, so unclear that I will eat all of it, but should be good. And then tomorrow for our hike we'll eat lunch, but tomorrow for dinner we will attempt to make some pasta over the fire. So this weekend is supposed to be really great weather. High in the 80s, low in the mid 60s. So I am planning to enjoy sitting outside, listening to nature, and getting a lot of reading done. And of course, hiking. This is a very large campsite. I think I mentioned earlier it has at least maybe over 200 spots. I think I'm gonna start at 100, but it goes to over 300. I did see a lake, so we may try to explore that and see if we can get Ivan out for a swim, because he would love that. And yeah, but there's a lot of people here. It's a very busy weekend. I think it's the first really nice weekend in June. So bunch of people, bunch of kids, bunch of dogs, usual campsite stuff, but it's not too loud. You can definitely hear people, but it hasn't been overwhelmingly loud. There's no one next to me right now, but it does look like somebody has that site reserved. So not sure if they're coming tonight or tomorrow night. And every other site around here is reserved. The sites are odd. You can tell they were definitely crammed in here. They're all shaped very weirdly, and you really have to walk around to get a feel for, if I wanted to come back here, what other site would be best. So, okay. Let me focus on getting this started. We need 1 1/3, 10.5 ounces of water. Let's do ounces this time. Okay, we're at 32, so that would be 22 and a little more. Whoops, that was on there, right? I don't think this is anything special. Tear, remove absorber, what? A fancy sauces. That smells delicious. Cheers. I bought some new citronelle candles, cute little tins, and they came with citronella roll-on. So if the mosquitoes get real bad, I might try that. It is really just a roller ball with a perfume. So I thought that was cute. I'm really tired. I didn't have a particularly early morning, but definitely feel worn out. Probably hungry. I'm sure once I eat, I'll have some more energy. The books I brought, I wasn't going to originally, just because it's kind of warm. Oh, fix the carrot. I wasn't going to bring my David Copperfield, but I don't know, I'm so close. I'm not that close. Definitely in the last quarter of the book. I have about, what am I, 656? About a little over, like 230 pages. So I'm not that close, but I'm close enough to be really excited about finishing it and seeing where the story goes. So I did bring that. Then I brought my Kindle, though I don't have any. Well, that's not true. I am reading one thing on here, a short book. Maybe I'll try to finish that. And then I brought, I haven't heard about this yet, but Hotel by Arthur Haley. This is funny because again, this is one of those that's part of my TBR Rewind series. So I don't recall why it was on my list, but I went to get it from the library. I had a hard time finding it on the library for like Kindle, like at my library, or even online. I had trouble finding it. And so I ordered it from my library. My library's huge, so they had it. I didn't think anything of it. And then it took a while I like put a hold on it. It took a really long time to come to my library branch. And I was like, that's odd, because I had ordered another book after it, and that one came. Then I got it, and I realized that this is a original printing from 1965. So it's got the super tiny serif font. It smells like a book from 1965, so I have no doubt that they had to go into their probably archive storage area to find this. So no dust jacket. It's great. So I'm barely not even 100 pages into this. It's a mystery thriller, so I'm excited to. It's a long one though, so I'm excited. I've enjoyed the writing so far. It's more complex writing than I think I would have thought it would be. So interested to maybe read a little bit more in this. And then on my Kindle, I'm reading The Turn of the Screw, which I hadn't intended to read, but the book before that one on my TBR Rewind was Florence and Giles. And when I got that from Kindle, it was combined with The Turn of the Screw. And I was like, okay. I've never read Turn of the Screw, so I wasn't sure what it was about. I'd heard about it. So I read Florence and Giles first, and it was, it's a ghost story, essentially, like a gothic ghost story. And so then I started reading Turn of the Screw and realized that Florence and Giles was a retelling of Turn of the Screw, so it makes sense why they were packaged together. Florence and Giles is quite a bit longer than Turn of the Screw. I almost DNF'd it, so stay tuned for my TBR Rewind series episode about that book to see why. But I did finish it, and so now I'm reading Turn of the Screw in order to compare them. I probably should have realized that's what it was when the books came together. So that was kind of interesting. See? Things you find out when you actually start tackling your TBR. Sometimes with the meat ones, I'm really gonna make sure they get stirred up a few times or the chicken doesn't rehydrate as well. And this guy. Ivan. Hi, buddy. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for you to get up. Hi, do you want to say hi? You want to say hi? He has a love-hate relationship with that bed. Mostly a hate relationship. He would rather lay on the ground. I don't know why. I got it because I thought it would keep him cooler since it allows air circulation underneath, but he's coming over here to lay in the leaves, so I'm fine. He would much rather dig him a little pile of leaves to lay in, so that's fine. He's a rescue, and I rescued him when he was about 4, so I don't know anything of his backstory. He had been previously taken to this rescue and then was a foster fail, so he ended up being adopted by his foster family. And then unfortunately, his foster parent passed away, and that's how he ended up back on the adoption circuit. And I'm grateful for that because he is the most amazing dog ever. But yeah, so I don't really know. It seems based on his personality that he definitely grew up with people. He loves people, loves other dogs. He's very socialized. Seems like he might, I don't know if he may have been on a farm or somewhere outdoors, he gets really excited when trucks go by. Not really big trucks like semis, but like garbage, like smaller garbage truck, waste management type trucks, but smaller ones, or work vehicles that are sort of that same size. He gets really excited about those. So I don't know if he lived near a road or maybe the previous owner drove one. And then he also gets really excited about farm animals. And I think a lot of dogs get excited about farm animals, but horses, chickens, sheep, goats, very excited. Wants to play with them, which I don't think would work out in his favor. Is there a ski? Well, let me not say that. There probably are. Let me try this roll on. Oh, that's juicy. That is juicy. That was strong. I can smell like such vanilla. 10 minutes. Let's take a peek. Smells quite lovely. Feels very hot. Pretty flavorful. The chicken is that dried meat texture, so it's not as enjoyable, but it's protein, so no problem. Alright, I'm gonna finish this up, read my book, enjoy the outside, and we'll check back in later. If you see my lips moving, it's because this story is better read out loud, being a ghost story. The prose is very complex in terms of the sentence structure is very long. So, for example, coming downstairs to meet my colleague in the hall, I remembered a pair of gloves that had required 3 stitches and that had received them, with the publicity perhaps not edifying, while I sat with the children at their tea, served on Sundays, by exception, in the cold, clean temple of mahogany and brass, the grown-up dining room. That's 1 sentence. It wasn't so much yet that I was more nervous than I could bear to be, as that I was remarkably afraid of becoming so. For the truth I had now to turn over was simply and clearly the truth that I could arrive at no account whatever of the visitor with whom I had been so inexplicably, and yet, as it seemed to me, so intimately concerned. It's just a lot of words. This actually is helpful for me if I read the sentences out loud. are back in the tent. I'm going to finish up my evening routine, get my clothes ready, and then probably just lay down and read for the rest of the night. I did pick a hike tomorrow, so there is a lake in this campground, and there is a 8-point-something mile loop around the lake. So I think that is what we will attempt to do tomorrow, and then hopefully he will be able to get in and swim, which he adores, so I'll definitely have to get some footage of that. And yeah, dinner was good, read for a little bit, didn't build a fire just because I knew I didn't want to stay up long enough to see it go out, because that usually takes a couple hours, and I think I sat out there reading for an hour and I'm already exhausted. So, alright, so let's finish up my evening routine. So I've already went and brushed my teeth. I did that in the bathroom since it was close. Hi, bud. Hi. What's the matter? What's the matter? You can't sleep up here with me. Sorry. You can't sleep up here with me. Alright, so I already brushed my teeth at the bathhouse. Now I'm going to essentially just wash my face and limbs. Lay down. So when I'm car camping, I do bring some luxury items. So I do bring some face wipes, and then I usually bring body wipes, but I forgot them. But I do have these compressible wipes, so these are basically dried wipes. So they're teeny tiny, probably about the size of maybe a stack of 4 quarters. And I just set it in my hand, pour water on it, and the water absorbs into the towel. And you see that it's growing bigger. I usually just go until it stops absorbing water, or until it looks pretty tall. And then, so there's like no water left in my hand. And it's pretty saturated. I'm going to just unroll it. And you have a little towelette, a little wipe. So I'm going to just use this on my arms and legs where I put some of the bug spray. And then I'll wipe my face, change into pajamas, and then we'll get back to reading. Alright, and now we are done. We are in our PJs. Everything is charging. Everything is put away. Dog is snoozing. Hello, good morning. It's about 6 a.m. We have been up and out for our first walk already. Now we just need to get dressed, get some breakfast, and get out on our hike. So I'll see you in just a minute. Alright, we have our trusty Baker's Pantry granola, blueberries, almonds, and milk. Slept pretty well last night. Temperature was good. I almost didn't pull out my sleeping bag, but then I ended up doing that, and I'm glad I did. You know, 60 degrees is just not the same as it was very pleasant. I wasn't cold at all. I do have a little dog chatter throughout the night, so I was woken up a few times for that, but otherwise, not bad. I was thinking a little bit about the hike I mentioned last night. I think it's 8.9 miles, and I'm using the fork, I should be using. And it might be a little ambitious. It's also supposed to be hard. I mean, it's around a lake, so it can't be that hilly. But at the last 2 times, we've only been able to do like a little over 3. So I don't know if we'll give it a try. 8 to 10 is usually what I shoot for when I'm backpacking, so it's not beyond my capabilities. But depending on how hot it gets, he might not be excited about it. So we'll just see. We're always open. We're always flexible. But I also found a couple bookstores to visit afterwards, and then I still need to find a lunch place. So that is our plan for the day. I'm going to go ahead and eat breakfast, and then we'll get on the trail. Alright folks, this might be another trail fail, but we're still doing it. Leaving early to go to the trailhead, I realized it was in another part of the camp, or another part of the park, that probably wasn't going to be open at 6:45 in the morning, and sure enough, the gate was not open. However, I figured since it's on the same state park, we could probably connect to it from the campground area. So, looked for another route. Indeed, Ended up finding parking, then realized that the trail area, or the trail in that area, was actually road walking just through the campground. So this is what we're doing now. Could have accessed it from our campground, but that's okay. Got a little bit of a morning drive. And I'm pretty sure we passed this when we were doing our walk yesterday evening, so all good. We're gonna try to see if we can find actual trail. It's not on the road. A little more nature and ambiance. And then, yeah, bud, maybe get you off leash. And then we'll see what we can find. We have found trail. Yay! We are all more happy. So we definitely won't be getting the 8.9 miles in, because that would involve walking the rest of the road through the campground, and that doesn't sound any fun. So we'll see what we get. Just following, there's a couple of trails back here that connect, and will hopefully lead back to where I parked the car. And then we'll see how long that takes and what other adventures we can get up to. Oh, that's a nice sitting rock. Always looking for those when you're out on trail. So moving along this trail, we came upon this landmark called Straight Hill. And you click on it and it looks like this weird metallic grain silo. So I was like, let's see if we can see it. So we're walking along. In the picture, it's like in a field. But here, it is in the middle of the forest, and it is creepy as all get out. I have no idea what it is. Some silo of some sort, but just in the middle of the trees. Like it's deserted. Oh. That's our landmark of the day. Seems like it is a public water facility, or at least that's what's on the sign. You never really know. All right, let's go. Oh, much better dismount than before. Much better. So when we stopped at the brewery, we had to get the little guy a treat. Ready? So he's eating a plain burger patty and enjoying it very much. Oh. Ready? Good job. Hello. We are back from quite a long afternoon. This morning I was a little concerned about what we were going to do with the rest of our day, given that we went out hiking so early, but we have managed to fill it. After the hike, which ended up being about 3.8 miles, I'll put it up on the screen here, we hit a used bookstore. Well, we came back to camp because it was still like 9 o'clock and nothing was open. Stayed here for about half an hour, then went to a used bookstore, did not find anything there. Then went to a brewery, had lunch. Then we went to another used bookstore that I wasn't going to go to, but I thought, what else am I going to do today? It was about 20 minutes out of the way, and so glad that I did. Such a cute store, actually very well organized. The first one was a little chaotic. You know, those bookstores were just, books are just everywhere. But this one was very well organized, so I was able to get 3 books there. I'll post a picture up here. Now we stopped to grab a couple of things that I had forgotten, the wipes, and yeah, now we're in toothpaste. Apparently I took toothpaste out of my bag. And now we're back at camp, and we are enjoying a little snack, dessert, and we're gonna read. I think that's what we'll spend the rest of the afternoon until dinner. So I will see you at dinner time, where we'll be cooking over the fire. What are we doing in here, bud? Are we digging another hole? Is it cooler in there? Are you hiding? Great, we are going to attempt to make pasta over the campfire tonight. So we have the fire started. I have pasta, jarred pesto. Yes, I could have made my own, but we're camping. Zucchini, and then I have tofu and frozen peas. Well, I'm sure they're not frozen, in the cooler. So yeah, we're gonna try to do a green pesto pasta. Alright, so while the fire's going, I'm gonna get all my stuff prepped. This is extra firm tofu, so I did not additionally squeeze it. Well, I guess I could. Squeeze a little bit. Great, I'm gonna wait for the fire to get going a little bit more, maybe get some coals, and then we'll be back to cook. Alright, I've got the tofu and zucchini sauteed off. I was going to not do the whole pound of pasta because obviously I'm not going to eat it all. But we'll see what gives. So I'm going to put this in the pan, cover it with water, and then try to just do a simmer boil and see how that goes. I'll check on that in about 10 minutes. Alright, I was skeptical, but that actually worked out really well. Granted, it took probably 3 times as long as I thought it would. But that's something entirely different. So, there are some pieces of pasta that just didn't get into the water, given the size of this pan, but I think I ended up giving it 15 minutes. Mostly just to get, at 10 minutes, a large chunk of the pasta was cooked. There was still a little bit too much water in there, though, so I gave it 5 more minutes and kind of stirred it around, and then cracked the lid. So, alright, we're going to put in the pesto. Oh, that smells divine. And I think, just due to the size of this pan, I'm going to have to portion myself the pasta and then put the tofu and zucchini in as toppings. Oh, and of course the fresh Parmesan. This looks amazing. I'm so excited. This would definitely feed a family, for sure. I mean, it is a pound of pasta and a pound of tofu. Oops. I was going to bring my cast iron Dutch oven, but I don't like it. So, and it's also very high, very tall. So it's basically like a stock pot, like, you know. And I've seen ones cast iron that are shorter, so there's just not, you know, I'm not cooking, you know, like a sauce or anything that needs to simmer for hours. The thing I did need to do is move the grate down, so I started with it on that top row, and then as the fire kind of went down, I had to move it down towards the embers to get the water to boil. Ideally, you should cook over the embers, or charcoal briquettes if you have those in there, not the flame. But I had a cast iron pan, so I wasn't worried about the flame, and I wasn't going to wait for I would have to start the fire at like 3, and I didn't do that, so. Okay. So I'm going to eat out of this one, which has a bunch of salt in it. I brought a different utensil for this, but that's okay. And yes, I brought to-go containers. Or I brought leftover containers. So maybe half the zucchini. And the tofu it's still so warm. I didn't get to saute it. Don't do that. As much as I didn't get to saute the tofu as much as I would have liked. Just because I was like playing with the heat. And so it just didn't get sauteed. But I mean, it's still super warm, so I'm not worried about it, and I don't mind I like tofu, so it doesn't matter to me what state it's in. Okay, now. Oh, I forgot the peas. Oh, can't forget the peas. Hold, please. I cannot forget the peas. They're clearly not frozen anymore, but they're not warm either, so. This was another fresh element I wanted. So I'm going to mix those in to warm them up. Okay. Can't forget the peas. I'll put the lid on this in a second. I also have, I let someone borrow my oven mitts. I let someone borrow my oven mitts that I usually have in my camp kit, so I've been improvising on the last couple trips because I keep forgetting to put them in there. And I went to a store today, a large department store, which shall to be named, and they didn't have any. I couldn't find the oven like pot holders or anything. It was weird. Parmigiano Romano. Get a little stir for the peas. Peas are gonna be cold, so that's okay. That's on me. Alright, bon appetit. Try to get a little bite of everything. Any pasta? Okay, it's a little challenging to get a little bite of everything. There we go. That's good. I should have put the peas in with the pasta the last couple minutes and let them warm up. I guess they're not hard. They're not bad. Right. So you too can have a homemade, fresh, green pesto pasta meal at camp. So I'm going to finish this up and I'll see you in a bit. There's nothing we love more than a downed branch. Oh. Well, I thought we were going to escape the rain, but apparently not. So it did start sprinkling a little bit, maybe like a heavy sprinkle about 15 minutes ago. I don't think it's supposed to last long. In fact, it may have even stopped, but packed everything up, put it in the car in terms of what I didn't want to get wet. Oh no, it's still raining. And we're just going to spend the rest of the night in the tent reading. I'm getting a good over halfway through hotel, so I might get a good chunk of that done tonight, and then we'll head to bed probably pretty early. So we'll see you in the morning. Good night. Good morning. It's about 6:45, 59 degrees. We've already had our walk and gotten cleaned up and changed. So now let's go ahead and get everything packed up and head home. And that's a wrap. We're all packed up and ready to go. Thank you for joining us for camping trip number 3 of the summer. Check back next month for another video. Ivan, you want to say bye? I think he's ready to go too. And join us on Sundays for live streams if you're interested in any crafting, reading, or productivity sprints, or just hanging out with me. And we'll see you next time. Bye.